Alright, YouTube, just left Home Depot and I'm headed back to the house now to start constructing the SHTF bug out camper thingy. Talk to you soon. Alright guys, here we go. This is the first build of the SHTF bug out camper scenario. Yeah, one of those things. One of the first things I was doing is measuring, trying to get an idea of what I really wanted, what I really needed. As far as space-wise, I thought about putting the mattress or the bed long ways. Then I decided that I was a little taller and it wasn't really going to work out just the way I thought it was. So what I decided on, I had some old couch cushions that I'm no longer using, and they're about the right size. So I'm going to use those and actually measure from the side of the bed here, and this is where my first rail is going to be. And then I'm going to use the under storage for my cooler, and I've also got a toolbox down here, and those are going to measure out about 14 inches tall. So I want to put these together. I want to measure them out 14 inches, and then I'm going to glue and screw them together. So just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can get the camera here. Just turn it around. Nope, no turning around, huh? Yeah, no turning around. So I don't know if you can see. Yeah, the sun is way bright in my eyes right now. The cushion is going to sit just right about like that, and then I'm going to measure 14 inches from that board to this board, and that's the ones that I'm going to glue and screw together. Alright, so what we're actually going to do is I measured out, and I actually want the length of my bed to be 72 inches. That's going to be roughly 3 of those cushions. So then that's going to give me about 79, 72, so 8 inches. Thereabouts 8 inches or so at the very end, and that way I can have room to put like a folding table or what do you call those, camping chairs or whatnot. Important, square, tape measure, and I do not have a table saw, so we're going to be using the antiquated, I guess that's a chop saw. One of the things you want to make sure, like I said, I want 72. So some people will put, let's see, some people will find the 72 and they will put a line like that. That way they know exactly where the center is. Since this piece of board is so small, I'm just going to put mine right on the edge, the square, and I'm going to give just a little bit of room for the width of the marker so that I know exactly where I'm at. Yeah, in case you're wondering, this thing is old, and I'm not going to cut, but you want to make sure that you allow for the width of the blade. So you don't want to just cut directly on the blade, because then you're going to end up a little short. So you want to scoot it over just so that you are even with, that. And I'll put my other board over here to kind of give me some leverage. Alright, next thing, make sure your hands are nowhere near it. And I'm sorry, it's going to be really loud, but you're going to start the saw up at the top and you're going to just push straight down. Let's check it one more time. Alright, you're going to raise it up and you're going to start the saw and you're going to go right through it. Just like that. That was really loud. I'll probably cut the volume off, but Alright, the next thing, you're going to need a drill. Yeah, don't need that. But any kind of drill will do. I prefer DeWalt, but that's personal preference. And if you've never tried it before, this one is called a countersink bit. And what that does, it allows you to drill through, and then it has this little tip that kind of countersinks it a little bit, so that way you're not splitting the wood. And then of course, screws. First, you want to make sure everything is square. So you're going to put your square here, make sure everything is lined up. And take the marker. I'm going to line it up. And make sure your drill is all the way, if you can see that. Yeah, you can see drill. Then you kind of, those are just kind of like, it keeps it from drilling all the way out. But you're going to put everything in here. And what you end up with is a little hole like that, and then the head of the screw is actually going to be fitting down in there. I like Gorilla Glue. It's pretty quick. So you're just going to put some on here. It's going to spread. Like it's really, really wet. If it oozes out the side, that's no big deal. You know, it's still gonna work. You're just gonna dry it off a little bit. I want the nice side out, and change out the bit. It really helps if you've got more than one drill, but I'm not fortunate enough to have more than one drill. Now, keep in mind, these are 2x2s, so they're going to be 2 inches thick. You're going to have a screw that's going to have at least 2 inches on it. I did 3. These are actually, if you can see those are number 3. So they're 3 inches long, number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. So we got the glue on, and just ease it right on in there. You're going to find the hole that you made. And that's going to hold it together. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. And you can see the glue is actually, where's my camera at? Nope, yep, maybe. There we go. No. You can see the glue is oozing out of there. You're just gonna take your finger and just kind of put it in there. Got some oozing out right there. Just going to, yeah, I suck with this. I was hoping the GoPro would be in by now, but not so much. And that's it. I'm going to continue to do the rest of them the same way. And what I'm going to make sure of is that, make sure they're all flat. Make sure they're, you know, and make sure that you measure out the distance that you need for specific. Like this one in particular is going to be my cooler. And for the cooler it needs to be 14.5 inches, so we measured that part. So we'll go over and measure the cooler width. The cooler width is going to be about 11 3/4, so just to give it a little bit of playroom, I'm going to measure from the inside here, and I'm going to give it a full 12 inches. So I'll push my board over to the 12-inch mark. One of the things you want to do is, if your cooler is 11 3/4 wide, you want to make sure that you don't measure it here and say, okay, I'm going to put from inside to there is going to be, yeah, so 12 center, we'll say. Because if you look at it, your opening is only going to be about 11 1/4. So you want to make sure that you bump that board out just a little bit so that you're getting a full 12. Yeah, I really need that tripod. Jeez. So you go inside to inside, and like I said, it's going to be 11 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little wiggle room and give it 12 inches for the cooler to go in. I'm going to go ahead and glue and screw that, and we'll be right back. Oh yeah, and one other thing that I just realized is that make sure that you're drilling and the holes are in the center of the board. When I put this one, you can see the hole at the top is where it was laying down at. So then I had to go back and find center, and close to it. It's not going to be perfect, but you find center of the board, and that way your screws and everything's, it's not going to be protruding out. It's going to be, you know, it's going to look nice. So before I really get started here, I want to make sure that's going to be big enough for the cooler to go into, and it looks like it looks pretty sturdy. So we will, I'm not going to be able to open the cooler, of course, but when you put it all together, and that's just another 2x2 there, but you can see when you put it together, you're still going to have room to slide it in. So that's another important part. I know this video is going to be all over the place, but I am sorry.